Thank you. Please be seated. Teacher Recognition of the Week to Colin Maddock for all the hard work he's put in for the Shawnigan Lake Regatta. And Prefect Joke of the Day. What is the difference between a teacher and a train? A teacher tells you to spit your gum out, and a train goes choo 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 choo.
Thank you, Kyle. Good morning. It gives me great pleasure this morning to introduce Mrs. Dalrymple to the podium for a presentation.
Good morning, everyone. So each year, I've got to take my glasses off, I'm old. Over 100 Shawnigan students take part in the Canada-wide University of Waterloo math contests. The University Centre for Education in Mathematics and Computing develops and administers many internationally recognized contests to help inspire the next generation of students to develop an interest in and a love for mathematics. These contests stretch students to think outside the box and creatively solve questions based on their understanding of mathematical principles. Over the past 30 or more years, Shawnigan students have been producing overall excellent results. SLS is consistently placed first or second in our zone, including down the road, since we began to participate in these competitions. If you want to see proof of past accomplishments, simply look up at the walls as you walk through the hall in the Craig building between Craig 1 and Craig 3. This year's results are no exception, and today we're going to recognize both individual accomplishments and overall results. The grade 9s write the Pascal contest and placed first in our zone this year as a group. The individual results are as follows. Tied for second place, these students are in the 90th percentile of students in Canada. In other words, they scored better than 90% of the 26,000 students who wrote the contest. Got that? These math titans are William Mann, Jack Costata, and Anita Yao. Could you stand up and be recognized, please? In first place at the 94th percentile is Clara Lowe. And could you come up and receive your medal, please? The Cayley contest is the one the grade 10s write, and in Canada, over 20,000 students wrote the test. In third place for Shawnigan at the 83rd percentile was Angelina Wang. In second place at the 86th percentile was Eric Wang. So if those two could stand up and be recognized, that'd be great. So get ready for this one. In the 98th percentile, the first place person in our Cayley contest was Yang Jen. Come up. Just to put this into perspective, the higher the grade, the harder the test. So in grade 11, grade 11 students write the Fermat contest. And in Canada, 17,300 students wrote this test. The grade 11 Fermat group as a whole came first in their zone. In third place, at the 86th percentile, was Lena Nee. Second, at the 91st percentile, Colin Wong. So could we stand and be recognized? Okay, brace yourselves. And in first place, at the 99.8th percentile, Kevin Tian. Okay, I've made him stay up here because I want to say something else. As a result of his outstanding result, he's been invited to and has agreed to attend the Lloyd Auckland Invitational Workshop at the University of Waterloo at the end of May. So he'll be there in Waterloo with all the other brainiacs. And I just want to congratulate you on that achievement. For those of you who are not so mathematically inclined, I have a little story I want to share and a secret I want to tell you. So, Anderson Zhang, where are you? Okay, Anderson, you can't listen to me. Okay, Kevin, you can't listen to me. Isabella, where are you? You can't listen to me. Okay? And all you other math brainiacs can't listen to me. Here's my secret. I hated math for the first 20 years of my life. Serious. Detested it. Couldn't do it. And I wanted to sort of explain why that was. So I have to go back, like way back, 50 plus years back. Yeah, I'm that old. My dad was an engineer, and it wasn't just an engineer, it was jet engines, right? So he was really, really bright. And I liked flowers. And I was his oldest child, so he was like, whoa, what's going on here? And my mom really liked flowers, so she was okay with it. But my dad pushed, and he knew that somewhere in my life I would need math. And I remember it was England, it was post-war, it was a bit depressing, and we had our first TV. It was like about this big, and it was black and white. But I was fascinated by the TV. And my dad used to sit in his chair with his beer, and I used to stand by him, and he'd be watching TV, and he'd be drilling me on the 9 times table. I remember this clearly. And, of course, where would my attention be? Television, of course. So every time I didn't get a question right? 9 times 8. Oh, what's Doctor Who doing? I would get smacked, right? That's my math experience from an early age, right? Okay, so great, could accept that, learn my 9 times tables. I really struggled in school. I struggled in the rigid sort of schooling environment I was exposed to in England at that time. Numbers and letters kind of blended for me. It was hard for me to distinguish them. I loved reading. I could read, but I kind of made it up as I went. You know, oh, that looks like the word beautiful. So, yeah. Anyway, no one then understood or could deal with learning differences. So I'm pretty sure I had some learning differences at that point in time. And what did I have to do? I had to work like super, super hard. So anyway, in England at that time, one of the things every student had to do was take an IQ test. So I took this IQ test, not expecting very much out of it. And lo and behold, in my county, County Durham, I turned out to be the second top person. Not bragging about that, just explaining. So fairly bright, but useless at school. So the school didn't know what to do with me at all. They put me in the A form, which is the top form, based on my IQ tests. And I remember that. I remember it to the day. It was rows of single desks. And everyone in that class had a number. If you were 1, you were the Isabellas and the Andersons and the Kevins of the world. If you were number 30, you were the Erica Cooks of the world. And I was always in seat 30, every time. And Mr. Davidson was this big sort of skeletal weirdo, and he would yell at me every day about how useless I was. Can you imagine what that does to an 8 or 9-year-old kid? Anyway, I was soon demoted to C form, right? So that's not to B form, to C form. And then I met the most wonderful teacher. Her name was Miss Brewster. I remember her. I remember Mr. Davidson for his evil. I remember Miss Brewster for being amazing. And she let me explore. She let me explore what I loved, and I was fascinated with 3D shapes. And she let me build a dodecahedron. Wow, and Mr. Lane knows exactly what a dodecahedron is, but it's like this fairly complex structure. And guess who was the first person she took me to show it to? Mr. Davidson. Anyway, my family came to Canada, and I struggled with math for many years. Struggled. It was not easy for me putting it all together. So the light bulb finally went off when I was in high school, because I sat down with a really good student who was patient. And that patience transmitted to me, and she made me look at things sequentially. And I actually started to see the patterns in math. And it was actually pretty cool, because I loved puzzles, and it kind of started to make sense. I'm not gonna lie, through university, the courses I had to take were pretty difficult, but I worked through them. So, why am I saying this to you? Well, I'm saying this to you for a number of reasons. First of all, never give up. I didn't give up. I knew that math would be important, right? And it's my whole life now, pretty well. Always ask for help, and get help whenever and wherever you can. Always ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Sit down with a friend and work through problems together. It's amazing what you can pick up when you do that, right? Do that at university, grade 12s. Make study groups. It's important. Use tutorials. You've got teachers who are willing, not Mr. Davidsons, the Miss Brewsters of the world, to give their time to you. Use that resource. The LC at night, amazing resources that I would have killed for when I was growing up. The last thing from me, always believe that your light bulb will eventually turn on. Thank you.